Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your Wrexham News and Update show with an interview with Ian Herbert, author of Tinseltown, Hollywood and the Beautiful Game, also Wrexham born and works for the DailyMail. So happy to have him back for the second time. Welcome.
Great to be on. Nice to see you again, Josh.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you again. It's been a bit. Last time we spoke, I think I was in France, and I think you were right where you were. So that was over the
yeah.
So it's been a bit. Yeah. How have you been?
All good. I mean, I think slightly, bumpy start to the season, wasn't it? We didn't really know after those early games, conceding about 10 goals every game. It seemed we weren't sure where it was all going, but I think I would have definitely taken, where we are in the table at that stage. Didn't see this kind of run of particularly, great home performances coming, and obviously great to be in the Cup fourth round this weekend.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. Going back to the beginning of the season, obviously Moles was out, he was injured, he came back, had to get our footing. Fozzie retiring and then bringing in Arthur Okonkwo, who's done fantastic. What do you think about Fozzie leaving after 5 games was it?
Really obviously like everybody else, like crazy surprised really, and because I think yes, we did look very vulnerable defensively, didn't we, at the start of the season? And I think, I don't know this, but it seemed to me there might have been a little bit of an assumption that because we'd won the National League, League Two was going to be kind of easier in some ways because it wasn't just one up automatically. It was, and we were obviously quite clearly wrong, and sides were coming at us harder. There was a greater physicality. I think that was the difference. It was a far more intense sort of environment to play in. And I don't know whether Ben just felt that, I suppose any goalie who's going to ship 5 in a game, or was it a couple of times, would feel perhaps that he wasn't up to it. I mean, but I think it was a good thing. I didn't really necessarily think it was a great thing that Ben carried on. I just thought, that was a great stopgap, but I wanted us to be kind of bringing in, young, goalkeepers who can take us up, either up at the level or, certainly to compete well in League Two. There was a good interview with Andy Morrell on the Rob Ryan Red pod, where Andy was saying that point. I mean, that's where I first heard it. He was saying, well, yeah, I don't necessarily want Foster to carry on.
Really?
And it's worked out for the best, but it was a big surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think, for me, at 40 years old, I listened to him talk about, he's like, he was driving 2 hours up, 2 hours down. So he wasn't living in Wrexham. You're right. At 40 years old, you're like, okay. And he said he felt like he could have saved some. He just wasn't there. But, he's done one of the best things for probably the club the last 15 years was saving the penalty last year.
Yeah, too right.
Gave me one of the best joys. So I'm fine with it. Yeah. And Arthur Okonkwo, who isn't going back to Arsenal, which is great, seems going to be to the end of the season. So I think he's fantastic. Really, really good goalkeeper.
Totally right. Yeah, I mean, just real command of the area. Looks confident, handles well, good distribution, all those things. I mean, in a way, it's a bit of a sort of a Ben Foster reprise, really, because I mean, Ben in the 2004-05 season, we won the LDV Vans Trophy, went to the final at Millennium Stadium, Cardiff, and that was Ben's kind of breakthrough season. Really, he was with us on loan from, I think it was from Stoke, and got discovered, went to play for United. So yeah, I mean, you want that kind of player in your ranks, and we've got quite a few older players in there, in the defence, and we want some younger ones coming through as well as Jordan Davis and Max Clearworth. We want we want to develop players.
Yeah, and then talking about that, and then we'll definitely talk about the book in a bit, which I have not got mine yet. So, but I'm still waiting. But on the players, the squad, there's been a bunch of injuries. I think Clearworth has done really well. O'Connell's coming back. I think Gio and O'Connor have been my 2 favorites and probably the keys of the season. What do you make of the injuries, and what do you make of squad depth? Because I think that may be where we're lacking. And I know, there's not that many, not much about transfers, but what do you make about what's going on with the squad depth, injuries, and possibly helping with that coming?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I don't think there really shouldn't be a problem with squad depth. I mean, we have got a lot of play. We've got a lot of players. James Jones, Luke Young, midfield coming, in reserve. We've got, Yeah, probably a little bit of, obviously Parky employs that wing back system, and there have been times where, perhaps we've looked a bit lacking in some of the options because of injuries in those wing back positions.
Yep.
I mean, see, Ford wasn't, Ford's now coming back into prominence because of that. I mean, I've seen Mendy's playing on the wrong. I think he was playing on the wrong side, on the right side rather than the left. But look, very, very good. I mean, Mendy's just he does blow hot and cold a bit, And there are days where you think, wow, this guy is just astonishing, and I love his energy as well. But so I suppose what I'm saying is I just don't think that there really ought to be a problem with depth. I mean, we've got a lot of different striking options, so we are really one of the best equipped sides in that league. It's just that we don't always seem to be able to quite deliver away from home in the way that we do at home. And, I think defensively we can be vulnerable defensively, I think.
Maka has been fantastic on that left side.
Brilliant.
He's 2-footed. I would put him on the right, and then I'd put Mendy over there because clearly Mendy is a stronger left foot than right foot. But obviously I'm not the manager, but I think he's been a revelation for his age, and I think great locker room guy you can see, and the same everyone has the same positive mentality, which is great. So
he's been such an incredible signing out. Like a different kind of signing, really. The one that and really in many ways, some weeks he feels like he's kind of the de facto captain. I mean, fair play to Tozer, who's come back after a really difficult first few games of the season. I mean, he must have wondered where it was all going, really, Josh, when he had that difficult start. But, a fair play. He's had a couple of outstanding games.
Yeah.
But McLean, as you say, incredible, and just a great leader. I mean, he was particularly distinctively in the Shrewsbury game in the Cup, where he was kind of really laying it on a bit and really geeing up the crowd, and that was a difficult kind of slightly attritional game, and he made such a difference, I think.
And he's fit as fries, and I think having O'Connor next to him was really good on the ball, allows Tozer to go and just kind of own the back line, control it, let's O'Connor push forward a little bit and pick passes out, and he could just manage that back line. And I think he's been really good for Max. I think Max at 21 or 22 has really done well and stepped up. He looks really
I'm just so over the moon about Max. I mean, I was at the Wimbledon game, and that was a really hard game against a really good side. And they, because of a mistake from Tozer, I think it was, they could easily have scored in that game early in the second half. I thought Max, against a really physical, proper League Two team, relegated from League One only last season, was really good. And there's a lot of talk about whether he should go out on loan at the end of last season. Obviously he wasn't in the team during the run into the title, and fair play. That's just a great story, I think.
Yeah, and I think having the manager seems to keep them all on level, like never too high, never too low. You hear them all in the interviews, and it's like solid. So it's really nice to see that. And I, on that, obviously we're in the January transfer window now. There's a lot of rumors, nothing really has come to fruition. We got a few days left. We did sign Mulls and Lee to extended contracts, and we're keeping AO to the end of the season. So anything out there? I mean, it's hard to get some information. They're keeping everything close to that.
I'm not picking a lot up, although it's not really my sort of thing. I don't really spend a lot of time trying to find that out. I spent so long working in football journalism that I just know how much sort of kind of stuff gets written that's just never happens in that kind of world. And it's not really my job within the paper I'm on to really go after that. But I don't know. I just think we ought to be all right. We ought to be. We've got so much in so many positions, but I suppose we'll see. They do surprise you sometimes. I mean, they in the past they've gone for players early because they happen to become available. I think people like Ryan Bartlett, I think it was one who they bought him 6 months early because he happened to become available, and they'd been looking at him. Ryan Bartlett, looking at him. So
there's a few things out there. You talk about the Notts County guys. I don't, Macaulay and Jody Jones. I don't think they'll come to fruition. Obviously they just lost their manager to Swansea, but Parkey said maybe you get 1 or 2 as a bonus. So I think maybe they have a plan. Maybe things are out there. So if something happens, great. But keeping Lee and Mullen for the next 2 years is fantastic.
What I'm not sure of is really like kind of how I ought to know really how the sustainability rules work in the League Two. Obviously, there is this kind of rule now we have in League Two that we didn't have in National League, where you can only spend a certain percentage of your revenue. You can't run up major losses. That's designed to prevent clubs, having a new owner spending like crazy, becoming indebted. The owner leaves, and then the club's bust. So it's a big part of the kind of commercial landscape in British football, and it doesn't exist in that way in National League, but it does exist that way in League Two. So you can't spend an unlimited league. I'm not sure how it is in the US, but certainly in British football, you cannot spend an unlimited amount. You are limited really on what your revenue is. Of course, Wrexham's revenue's super good because of the United Airlines, Stock, Cold Coffee, all these guys. So it's good, but it's not unlimited.
Yeah, and I think they
have spent. They have spent already.
And that's pretty good to keep it kind of competitive. And you could see the teams that struggle a little bit. In the States, they have salary caps on certain things, like in football, American football, that is. And baseball's a little crazy. They spend money like crazy. But on that, I just I feel like if we don't get people, we'll be fine. If we do, we're in good position. Top 3 go up. You never want to really go into the playoffs. So I think we're in a good position. So and you just what game were you at? I wanted to talk about the temporary COP and the COP approval that's gone through for the extra 500 fans.
I've not been to many games. I'm not a season ticket holder. I don't really like covering games as a journalist. I just think I did quite a lot of that last season. Yeah. I just hate it. You can't, because there's a kind of a code really, when you're a journalist, you can't start jumping up and down when the team scores. So I've not seen a crazy number of games, but I did get to the temporary stand's been brilliant in the sense that it means those of us who are only members and not season ticket holders can get to games. It was brilliant. The Wimbledon game was my first one on that COP. First time I've actually been on that side, that end of the ground. Wow. I don't know, since probably 1994 or something. I don't know what, for years and years. And a lot of people in North Wales having that experience of going back to that end of the ground again. And it was cool. I thought it was a great facility. I thought and I thought that the catering facilities around it were really good. So it was super good setup. I thought they did it very professionally, the club, and a good result as well. So, but I mean, it just means, I think, that with home games, whereas usually you've got to be so quick on the button on the Thursday mornings UK time when tickets become available. Now, you've got a hope, you've got a prayer of getting into the game. So
that's good. And I'm hoping to get to the Stockport on April 27th game. I'm trying to get to that. I'm hoping to get there to go see the match.
Brilliant. So that's good. Well, we should get together then.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to the turf, grab a pint, and definitely do that. Yeah. There was a bit of a delay getting the approval for that big the 5,500. I mean, it seems like that's going to go through now, and I think that'll just change things. And you see those 4 walls of just fans going in there. It's got to be crazy energy. So
it's just what's astonishing, I think, is the numbers. I mean, it's an obvious thing to say, but that there were 12,500 for Wimbledon. I mean, you're not getting that for Bournemouth in the Premier League. It's crazy. It's crazy numbers there, and it's not obviously it's really helped by I saw a lot of Canadians at that game. I saw a lot of US fans at that game, which is just cool. Really cool. All those guys you see in the turf, really great. Brilliant. Yeah. But it's by no means all that. I mean, there's just a really substantial dormant population within that, a sort of a radius of Wrexham who really are up for it and really enjoying it. So, and as you say, when we've actually got that as a permanent stand and a kind of a developed racecourse, then that's going to be an incredible environment.
Incredible. And on that note too, talking about the fans, and this was big because we're obviously on Monday we have a great game, FA Cup, traveling to Blackburn, Ewood Park. Yeah. Initially they gave us 4,000, and now we sold out 7,000. Yeah. Talking about the locals, and that they were always there, but now they're showing up, and they didn't think that. So what do you think about the traveling support there? I know we're not that great away, but I feel like yes, things are getting global, but people in the town are really Yeah, amazing. So,
oh yeah, yeah, you put it really well. I mean, I can't wait. You know, I mean, I can't remember going to an away game where we've taken 7,000 ever. You know, I can't remember that ever. I mean, even in the best days of league of the old Division 2 or whatever. So, and actually, the two games last season away, Coventry and Sheffield United, I reported on them for the Mail, and so I didn't really kind of get the full sense of, you know, experience really. So I can't wait. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be an incredible night. I mean, and also remember, it's a Monday night. It's not great. You know, it's not great for people. I mean, I was doing a pod earlier in the week with a Blackburn podcaster, also called Ian Herbert, bizarrely.
Oh, really?
There are many of us. But he was sort of saying like, he was saying, like Monday night, you know, it's crap for our fans. But I mean, like, we're actually the traveling fans, and it's not great for us, but we're still taking 7K. So crazy. Yeah, really good.
And you're going to the match, correct?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And my brother Pete and my nephews, and you know, it'll be cool. I mean, for me, I live in Manchester, so it's just a really quick. It's about an hour, but we'll obviously need to get there early because there'll be a lot. I mean, but Blackburn's one of those little old, you know, former Lancashire mill towns where it's a bit like Burnley and, well, for us last season, Halifax, which is West Yorkshire, where you know there's kind of only one road in and one road out out to the motorway, so it'll be quite busy that night. So
that's great. I'm super excited. We're going to do a live for that, and really excited about that too. And on that, I want to see, like, you know, there's people don't really want to go on the cup run. They want to focus on promotion. Granted, we're in the fourth round now. You know, I know we were in the fourth round last year. We got sent out, but I'd like to get to the fifth round. Obviously, the promotion is important, but like the progression, I think it's important to do that.
I agree. Yeah, no, I think this is. I think this is more important for me than anything. I mean, of course, it would be great to get promoted again, but I don't buy this thing. I'm not one of these people who wants to go rattling up through the leagues to the championship. I just think, you know, if we have a year consolidating in League Two, we get to the playoffs. I suppose we ought to go up because of the budget we've got. But no, I just think back to the great years of, particularly the late 90s, where we had some crazy cup runs. The 1997, we went to the quarterfinals. We played Chesterfield, bizarrely. I mean, get all the way to the quarters and then play a team out of your own league, you know, rather than one of the big boys. And I just think it would be, you know, some of my mates are Middlesbrough fans, and they just got to the Carabao Cup semi, you know, against Chelsea. Obviously, Middlesbrough much bigger than us, but it's that sense of a journey, you know, and of course, what we've not seen in the new era of the club is a cup tie against the Premier League side. So that would be crazy good, you know. And I mean, we've been a bit unlucky in some respects to constantly draw championship teams, but it would be great if we could do that.
My thought is, if we got this one here, if we get through this one unscathed, I'd love to get Sheffield United again and then beat them. But, you know, that's
and then play Tottenham again like we were last season. Yeah, I
think that's out. But no, it's really cool to see, and it gives us a lot of, you know, and I don't think it'll mess with our promotion chances, especially how well we played, you know, and moving forward. So I'm excited to see that too. But and on that, you know, shifting gears a little bit, you know, let's talk about the book, Tinseltown. Tinseltown hasn't been doing. You know, tell us a little bit about it, a little bit more in depth, if you have. And
thanks. Yeah, no, thanks for the chance to do that. Yeah, no, so it's a book about, you know, the journey of the last few years. It's about the mechanics of the takeover, the details of what went on behind the scenes at the takeover, I suppose the kind of philosophical and emotional struggle that some of the, you know, the Wrexham FC Supporters Trust had in actually being able to have the confidence to hand the club over to, you know, Hollywood owners, if you want to call Rob and Ryan that, you know, and the fact that they had rescued the club really from virtual oblivion, and that it wasn't a given that they were going to just hand it over because, you know, there was a sense of having to protect. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot about Wrexham in it, the town, like what is this place, you know, like trying to take readers, and I really had, I suppose, American readers very much in mind, you know, how can I take readers behind the curtain of, you know, the obvious stuff like the turf and the Kairos and, you know, all the places that we know on the documentary into some of the highways and byways of what is a beautiful, quite idiosyncratic, colourful little town, really. So the Wrexham Town bit for me was important. It's doing fine. I think it's had a good reception in the UK. It sold pretty good, and it's the actual printed book is available in the US from, I think it's January the 28th. It's a sort of strange system where they literally have to put them on a boat to get them to the US. So I think the boat's now arrived. So
yeah, I literally just checked mine before on here when it's delivered, and I saw it said coming soon. So I'm hoping in the next couple weeks I can get one, and then if I see it, when it's Stockport, I'll buy another one, and I definitely yeah. So I'm excited to read it.
One's quite enough for you. One's quite enough.
Wow. Hey, I don't know. I'm traveling over there. Maybe I'll read it on the plane. But no, I'm excited to read it, and it's a really, really cool story. Yeah, and obviously, day job. You work for the Mail. How's that been? Hey, I read your articles. When they come up almost weekly or bi-weekly. Yeah, and but I'd be remiss not to talk because I'm looking over here at the Mail about. I know we're shifting a little bit from Wrexham. About Jurgen Klopp. Just announcing he's going to leave today. That's huge.
Yeah. It's crazy. I actually I sort of saw a tweet this morning from a colleague of mine on another paper who actually sometimes does ironic tweets, which are kind of about stuff that's not going to happen, but it's almost like crazy stories. But it was actually true. I think it's incredible that I think one of the many things that's kind of incredible about it is that it didn't leak. In the world that we're in, it was it broke in a purest way with Liverpool publishing on Twitter that video most of your viewers will have seen of Jurgen. It doesn't surprise me entirely. I mean, I think Jurgen's a very intense guy. He's given so much to it. He's given his absolute heart and soul to it, and you do wonder about how much that will take out of anybody. I can't relate to what that must be like, but a bit like Pep, I suppose, taking a break after Barca. It must take it from you after a while.
Yeah, I was like 2:30 in the morning, and I saw it come up on my phone. What am I doing up? I think I was actually exchanging messages with you, and I saw it pop up, and I was like, oh man. So I think I think Klopp is fantastic at these. You could see his passion. It's not quite. He didn't really say. I don't know if it was about the American owners or whatever he said, but I'd be probably tired. After 9 years of just constant, going at it. And I fancy them to win this year. I think that's my pick for. I mean, obviously City are great, but I fancy them to win it this year. So now I'd like to see that happen, even though that's kind of blasphemy. But I think I'd like to see them win it.
Yeah, no, it must be very hard for for Klopp to see the City machine. That they constantly buy. And I think there was that thing with Liverpool where they actually didn't replenish the squad as they should have done a year or so ago, and there were consequences to that. Now they have, but I really, really hope that they do take City all the way. I really hope that someone other than City wins the Premier League. I don't think it's good for the competitive balance of the Premier League for City to win it. I don't think it's particularly good for the validity of the Premier League and reputation that a club facing 115 charges of breaches of sustainability rules should win it 5 years out of 6. I don't like that. I don't like the way that City have managed to kind of spin out this charge for so long. So I think there's a whole bunch of reasons why it would be good if someone other than City won it, and I don't see anyone other than Liverpool really, really pushing them.
Yeah, and you look at that. You look at what happened with Everton dropping 10 points. Nottingham Forest getting knocked. Still waiting to see. By the way, Everton have been fantastic since them.
They have. They have to. Yeah, they have. Yeah.
So, and you look at the 115 with City, you're like, are they just dragging this out? What's going to happen? And it's only fair that. And I'm not in the know at all, but if something's wrong, you got to take care of it. It's not good to have one team dominant, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think you must look at that and say they are a machine. There's no doubt. I mean, they're astonishing, City. So yeah,
they are, and I think the shoe-in would probably be what, Xabi Alonso. That's probably.
Well, I mean, there's been quite a lot of talk about Xabi Alonso. I just don't know that I'm not. I don't know. I think there's a history in. It's what makes I think it very difficult. Is as you know, there's a history in British football really of managers with great longevity. I'm thinking about Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger. When they go, it being difficult to sustain that, and that being a real poison chalice in many ways. And how do you actually keep that going? I mean, so it's very tough. I guess maybe Xavi would be. I just don't know what it's hard to know, isn't it? Really, what they're.
You know who else is out there? Jose Mourinho.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, he's not everyone's cup of tea, but we'll see. He's out there. That's a possibility. Let's see if they'll go for that. But very interesting times, and let's see what they do. But wish them the best of luck. What they're going to do. But what else? So what's next for you? What do you have on the docket for you? What's coming up? You going to any matches?
Yeah, sports-wise, we've got the Euros in Germany in June. We've got the Olympics in Paris in July. August. So it's from a Western European perspective, it's a great year for sport, really. So and it obviously just great to see how our club is is in the mix and is doing exciting stuff and playing good football. So those things really. And in the UK, the Six Nations Rugby Union's big. So there's a lot of. It's just we're coming out when we come out in January. We just emerge blinking into the light of the Six Nations, and suddenly the sporting year's underway again. So yeah.
And on that, you think going in? Do you think what are our promotional chances this year? How do you feel about it?
Really good. I mean, I think you've got to say it's really good. We didn't start well, did we? We are a little bit bumpy away. I'm thinking about Newport the other night. I'm thinking about Walsall the other night. So there's clearly, teams that we are. You can see how we are beatable. I mean, I think teams who press us do well. However, for us to have that start that we did, and to be where we are is great. And I think we've got every chance. I think of going up. I mean, playoffs are always a bit of a horror, aren't they, for us? But it was featured very well on. I think it was episode 3 or 4 of the second series. That's scary. But great chance to go up, I think.
Yeah, I think if we can keep our heads, I think we can get people back to fit. I think sometimes we go long ball too much. If we keep the ball on the ground, Gio turned the game around a couple weeks ago. We kept the ball on the ground. I think it was the Shrewsbury match. We started getting the ball out wide, getting balls in the box, scoring goals. And I think that's great. So I totally agree. I think having 4 go up 3 automatically, I think helps us out a lot. We do have strength and hopefully made a little bit more.
It's a totally different dynamic, I think, to National League for that reason, isn't it? Yeah.
Because last year was, granted, Notts County did great to push us and we pushed them. Obviously, we got the promotion automatically, but I'm thinking too. Touch wood. I hope we go up, but it's great to see, and hopefully I get to that last match, Stockport, and hopefully we're already maybe we're ahead.
That's a great one to be at. Well, let's do something at that game. Let's do a kind of a something for the pod because it's good. It's a great one to be at. Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting over there and meeting some good people. I've met some good people already on the podcast, so it's awesome. So, all right, well, happy Friday, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And, welcome. It's good to see you. All right, and good luck with the book. And
I can't wait to great that you're doing so well. Great that the pod's doing well. Hi to all of the audience in the US who are tuning in because you're a huge part of what we're all about. So great to be in touch with all of you guys through Local Pundit.
No, thank you very much. It's great to see you, Ian, and we'll talk soon.
Cool.
All right,
Cheers.
Ian Herbert. Cheers.